For 50 years, they told you fat was the enemy, that it clogged arteries, made you obese, caused heart disease. Entire industries were built on the fear of fat. It was all based on a lie. What's really happening when fat enters your body is more complex and more beautiful than what they wanted you to know. This misunderstood molecule isn't just fuel, it's the very architecture of life itself. I'm Eric Johnston, and I'm not an expert, but I have done the research so you don't have to wade through decades of flawed studies, industry propaganda, and pseudoscience. After months of studying the real evidence, the peer-reviewed research, and the actual biochemistry, I discovered something remarkable about how fat shapes every cell in your body. On this episode of Food Truth, we're going to shatter 50 years of fat myths and show you what's really happening inside your cells. Join me as we uncover the shocking truth about fat and why everything you've been told about it is wrong. This is Food Truth Episode 7, The Fat Show. Imagine you're touching your fingertips in olive oil. Feel its silky texture, its refusal to mix with water. This isn't just cooking oil, it's concentrated energy, stored sunlight transformed by plants into one of nature's most efficient fuel sources. Place a drop on your tongue. Your taste buds detect something different from carbohydrates or proteins. Fat triggers specific receptors that tell your brain, this is dense energy. This is what survival feels like. Before we had nutrition labels, we had this ancient wisdom. Now let's follow a single fat molecule through your body. Unlike sugar or protein, fat doesn't dissolve easily in water. Your digestive system has to work differently here, using bile salts to break down large fat droplets into tiny ones. A rather elegant solution to an ancient chemical puzzle. Now press your fingers against the side of your neck. Feel your heart beating. The fat you eat today might power that heartbeat tomorrow. Your body is remarkably efficient at storing and using this energy, a skill that kept our ancestors alive through countless winters. But fat isn't just fuel. Run your hand over your skin. Every cell membrane in your body contains fat molecules arranged in precise patterns. Your brain is 60% fat. Even your genes are regulated by fat-derived molecules. This isn't just energy storage, it is the architecture of life itself. Different fats tell different stories in your body. Saturated fats pack tightly together, solid at room temperature. Unsaturated fats bend and flex, staying liquid, flowing like cellular rivers. Trans fats, artificial molecules our bodies never evolved to handle, completely disrupt this ancient chemistry. Put your hand on your belly. Under your palm, your gallbladder is releasing bile, breaking down the fat droplets into microscopic particles your intestines can absorb. These particles are packaged into specialized vehicles called chylomicrons, and these are like molecular delivery trucks carrying precious cargo. Your fat cells aren't just storage units, they're active endocrine organs, releasing hormones that regulate hunger, metabolism, and inflammation. The layer of fat beneath your skin represents millions of years of evolutionary wisdom about energy storage. Even your bones store fat in their marrow, where blood cells are born. Your muscles tuck away fat droplets between their fibers, ready for instant energy. Your body maintains these careful reserves not out of greed, but from deep cellular memory of times when food was scarce. This is the truth about fat. Not that it's a dietary demon or miracle food, but that it's woven into the very fabric of our cells. Every cell membrane, every nerve sheath, every brain cell tells a story written in the language of fat. Understanding this story might help us make peace with this most misunderstood of nutrients. Your body's relationship with fat isn't about modern diet dogma. It's about an ancient partnership between molecules that made complex life possible. When food companies removed fat from products, they faced a problem. Fat carries flavor. Their solution? Add sugar and artificial flavors. Low fat became big business overnight, even as evidence mounted that these processed alternatives were worse for health. The transformation was swift and comprehensive, affecting everything from dairy products to snack foods, creating an entirely new category of diet foods that promised health benefits while delivering hidden dangers. Marketing departments worked overtime. Fat-free labels appeared everywhere, from yogurt to cookies. The message was clear. Fat was the enemy, but they never told us what they were replacing it with or why their profits soared as public health declined. Behind closed doors, food scientists wrestled with the challenge of making low-fat products palatable, ultimately turning to a complex array of artificial sweeteners, thickeners, and flavor enhancers. Internal industry documents show companies knew the science was shifting by the 1990s. Studies indicated their low-fat products weren't helping people lose weight or prevent heart disease, but the machine was too profitable to stop. Marketing budgets expanded, research was selectively interpreted, and contrary evidence was systematically downplayed. Industry-funded studies conveniently supported their narrative, while independent research raising concerns was often dismissed or buried. The deception went deeper than mere marketing. Food companies actively lobbied against clearer labeling requirements. They fought to maintain subsidies that made their processed alternatives cheaper than whole foods, and funded research designed to cast doubt on emerging evidence about the benefits of natural fats. Their influence extended into medical education, professional conferences, and public health policy, creating a web of influence that would take decades to unravel. Your cell membranes are made of a double layer of fat molecules arranged with extraordinary precision. Every nerve in your body is insulated with a fatty sheath called myelin. Without these fats, your neurons couldn't transmit signals properly. This intricate arrangement of lipids isn't just structural, it's dynamic, constantly adapting to cellular needs and environmental conditions. The fluidity and flexibility of these membranes depend on the precise ratio of different types of fats, affecting everything from nutrient absorption to cellular communication. Your brain is 60% fat. These aren't just empty calories, they're essential structural components. The omega-3 fatty acids in your brain help determine how well neurons communicate. Memory, mood, and cognitive function all depend on having the right fats in the right places. Recent research has revealed that these fats play crucial roles in synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and adapt to new information. The composition of brain lipids affects everything from learning capacity to emotional regulation, and maintaining the right balance becomes increasingly crucial as we age. Even your genes are controlled by fat-derived molecules. Hormones made from cholesterol regulate everything from stress response to sexual development. Far from being the enemy, fat is fundamental to life itself. These lipid-based signaling molecules act as master regulators, influencing gene expression, cellular development, and metabolic function. New research continues to uncover previously unknown roles for fats in cellular communication, immune function, and disease prevention. The cellular story of fat extends to mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cells. These essential organelles rely on specific fats for optimal function, and their performance affects everything from energy levels to aging. The relationship between cellular fat metabolism and mitochondrial health represents a frontier in our understanding of longevity and metabolic disease. Scientists are discovering that certain fats can actually enhance mitochondrial function, potentially offering new approaches to treating various diseases. Our ancestors prized fatty foods because they were rare and energy dense. A single pound of fat contains 3,500 calories, enough to survive several days. Our brains evolved using fat as a primary fuel source. This evolutionary adaptation was so successful that it fundamentally shaped our neural architecture, leading to the development of specialized metabolic pathways that prefer fat as an energy source. Archaeological evidence shows that early humans went to extraordinary lengths to obtain fatty foods, developing sophisticated hunting and processing techniques specifically to access these valuable nutrients. The ability to store fat efficiently kept us alive through famines. Those who could store energy most effectively passed on their genes. This wasn't a design flaw. It was essential survival programming. The development of white adipose tissue, our primary fat storage system, represents millions of years of evolutionary refinement. This tissue isn't just a passive storage depot, it's an active endocrine organ that helped our ancestors maintain metabolic flexibility through feast and famine cycles. Modern abundance has changed the game, but our biochemistry remains the same. Understanding this evolutionary context helps explain why strict fat restriction often fails. We're fighting ancient and powerful survival mechanisms. Our genes still respond to dietary signals the same way they did thousands of years ago, triggering complex hormonal cascades designed to protect us from starvation. This mismatch between our ancient programming and modern environment helps explain many of our current metabolic challenges. The evolutionary story of fat goes beyond simple energy storage. Our ancestors' ability to process and utilize different types of fats led to the development of sophisticated enzymatic systems that could differentiate between various fatty acids. This metabolic flexibility became a crucial survival advantage, allowing humans to thrive in diverse environments and adapt to varying food sources. The same systems that once ensured survival now influence our response to different dietary fats, explaining why some fats promote health while others cause problems. The war on fat led to widespread fear of cholesterol, but the science tells a different story. Your liver produces most of your cholesterol because it's essential for life. Dietary cholesterol has minimal impact on blood cholesterol levels for most people. This fundamental misunderstanding led to decades of misguided dietary advice and unnecessary restriction of nutrient dense foods. The liver's sophisticated regulation of cholesterol production demonstrates just how crucial this molecule is to human health. Statin drugs, which lower cholesterol, became the most prescribed medications in history. But recent studies question their benefit for people without existing heart disease. The relationship between cholesterol and health is far more complex than we were ever told. The rush to lower cholesterol by any means necessary may have overlooked important nuances in cardiovascular health. New research suggests that the timing, context, and mechanism of cholesterol reduction all play crucial roles in determining health outcomes. The real story involves inflammation, oxidation, and the difference between various types of lipoproteins. It's not about eliminating cholesterol, it's about understanding its role in cellular health. Modern research has revealed that cholesterol serves as a repair molecule, helping to heal damaged tissues and protect against oxidative stress. The presence of elevated cholesterol might often be a response to underlying health issues rather than their cause. The cholesterol narrative represents a case study in how oversimplified health messages can lead to unintended consequences. While focusing exclusively on lowering cholesterol numbers, we may have missed opportunities to address more fundamental causes of heart disease. The emerging understanding of cholesterol's role in immune function, hormone production, and cellular repair is forcing a reevaluation of decades old assumptions. This new perspective suggests that maintaining healthy cholesterol metabolism, rather than simply driving numbers down, might be the key to cardiovascular health. Different fats have different effects on inflammation in your body. Processed vegetable oils, high in omega 6 fatty acids, can promote inflammation. Traditional fats like olive oil and omega 3s from fish can reduce it. This relationship between dietary fats and inflammation represents a crucial turning point in our understanding of chronic disease. The type and quality of fats we consume can either trigger or suppress inflammatory pathways, influencing everything from joint health to cognitive function. The ratio between different types of fatty acids matters more than total fat consumption. This explains why traditional high-fat diets like the Mediterranean diet are associated with good health. The balance between pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory fats appears to be a key determinant of health outcomes. Research has shown that maintaining optimal fatty acid ratios can influence gene expression, immune function, and cellular repair mechanisms. Modern industrial processing has skewed these natural ratios, creating unprecedented patterns of inflammation. Understanding this helps explain why not all fats are created equal. The introduction of highly processed vegetable oils has dramatically altered the fatty acid composition of the modern diet, leading to systemic imbalances that our bodies struggle to manage. This shift represents one of the most significant dietary changes in human history. The inflammation story extends beyond just omega 3 and omega 6 ratios. Emerging research is uncovering the role of specialized pro resolving mediators, or SPMs, compounds derived from the omega 3 fatty acids that actively help resolve inflammation. These molecules represent a missing link in our understanding of how traditional fatty foods might have protected against chronic disease. The discovery of these inflammation resolving pathways suggests that simply reducing inflammation isn't enough. We need the right fats to actively resolve inflammatory processes. New research continues revealing fat's complexity. We're discovering that fat tissue acts as an endocrine organ, producing hormones that regulate metabolism. Different types of fat cells serve different functions. Brown fat, which generates heat and regulates body temperature, operates differently from white fat, which is used for energy storage. The discovery of beige fat cells, white fat cells that can take on characteristics of brown fat, has opened new avenues for metabolic research. Personalized medicine is showing that individuals respond differently to various fats based on their genetics and metabolism. The one size fits all approach to dietary fat is giving way to more nuanced understanding. Genetic variations affect how people process and store different types of fats, suggesting that optimal fat intake might need to be personalized. Advanced testing methods are beginning to reveal patterns in individual fat metabolism that could guide more effective dietary recommendations. Science is finally moving beyond the simplistic fat is bad paradigm toward a deeper appreciation of these essential molecules. The future of nutrition lies in understanding these complex relationships rather than demonizing entire nutrient classes. Research into the role of specific fatty acids in cell signaling, gene expression, and metabolic regulation is revealing new therapeutic possibilities. The emerging field of lipidomics, the study of cellular lipid networks, promises to revolutionize our understanding of how fats influence health and disease. Technological advances are enabling unprecedented insights into fat metabolism. New imaging techniques can track the fate of different fatty acids in the body, while molecular tools reveal how fats influence cellular behavior. These developments are leading to more targeted approaches to using fats therapeutically, from treating neurological conditions to managing metabolic disorders. The future may see personalized fat prescriptions based upon individual metabolic profiles and health goals. Traditional cultures worldwide developed wisdom about fats that science is now validating. Cold pressed oils, grass fed animal fats, and naturally fatty foods like avocados and nuts provide essential nutrients our bodies need. These traditional practices often involved careful preparation methods that preserve the integrity of fatty acids while maximizing their nutritional value. Modern analysis is revealing the biochemical basis for these time-tested approaches to fat consumption. The problem was never natural fats, it was processing and imbalance. When we extract oils with heat and chemicals, hydrogenate them for shelf stability, or consume them in unprecedented quantities, we create problems our bodies never evolved to handle. Industrial processing methods can create harmful compounds, alter the molecular structure of fats, and strip away protective nutrients that naturally occur alongside fats in whole foods. The contrast between traditional fat processing methods and modern industrial techniques reveals crucial differences that affect health outcomes. Learning to distinguish between natural and processed fats, understanding their roles in our bodies, and returning to more traditional patterns of fat consumption might be key to resolving our modern health crisis. This requires not just choosing different fats, but understanding how to properly store, prepare, and combine them with other foods. Traditional cultures often paired fatty foods with specific herbs or preparation methods that we now know help protect these sensitive molecules from damage. The practical application of fat wisdom extends to cooking methods, storage practices, and food combinations. Temperature control, exposure to light and air, and even the materials used for storage can significantly affect the quality of fats. Understanding these practical aspects of fat handling is crucial for maintaining their beneficial properties. Traditional practices like fermenting fatty foods, aging certain oils, and using specific cooking vessels weren't just cultural preferences. They often protected and enhanced the nutritional value of fats themselves. The story of fat is also a story about money and influence. Follow the funding of major nutrition studies, and you often find industry fingerprints. Policy decisions worth billions to food companies were based on selective interpretation of evidence. This network of influence extends beyond direct research funding to include professional organizations, medical education, and public health messaging. The strategic use of scientific uncertainty has been a powerful tool for maintaining profitable but problematic practices. Government dietary guidelines, shaped by both science and politics, helped create our current predicament. The USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, serves two masters: public health and agricultural interests. These goals don't always align. The process of creating dietary guidelines involves complex negotiations between various stakeholders with economic interests, often wielding significant influence. The resulting recommendations frequently reflect political and economic compromises rather than purely scientific conclusions. Understanding this history helps explain how we got here and why change is so difficult. The fat story illustrates how science, policy, and commerce interact, sometimes at the expense of public health. The economic implications of dietary recommendations create powerful incentives to maintain the status quo, even in the face of contradictory evidence. Industry groups have developed sophisticated strategies for influencing both public opinion and policy decisions. The influence of corporate interests extends beyond direct lobbying and research funding. Food companies have shaped everything from agricultural policies to school lunch programs, creating systemic barriers to dietary change. The revolving door between industry and regulatory agencies has complicated efforts to reform policies around fat and nutrition. Understanding these structural challenges is crucial for developing effective strategies to improve public health guidance. So, the evidence is clear. Natural fats are not the enemy. They're essential for brain function, hormone production, and your cellular health. The fear of fat led us to replace natural foods with processed alternatives that have caused more harm than good. This misguided approach to nutrition has had far-reaching consequences for public health, affecting everything from chronic disease rates to cognitive development. The rehabilitation of dietary fat represents one of the most significant shifts in nutritional science. The true story of fat isn't about elimination, it's about understanding. Different fats serve different functions. Some promote health, others cause problems. The key is learning to distinguish between them. This nuanced approach requires moving beyond simple categorizations of good and bad fats to understand the complex roles these molecules play in human health. The timing, context, and quality of fat consumption all influence its effects on health. Modern science has finally caught up with what traditional cultures always knew. Fat is fundamental to health. It's time to move beyond fear toward understanding of these essential molecules. This new appreciation for fat's complexity is leading to more sophisticated approaches to both prevention and treatment of disease. The future of fat science promises to reveal even more about how these crucial molecules shape human health and disease. The journey from demonization to understanding has important lessons for how we approach nutrition science. The oversimplification of complex biological systems often leads to unintended consequences. Moving forward requires both humility about what we know and commitment to following evidence wherever it leads. The fat story reminds us that nutrition science must balance traditional wisdom with modern research to find practical solutions to health challenges. Well, that does it for this episode of Food Truth. I thank you for joining me on this deep dive into fat, and I hope you learned a thing or two. Join us next time as we do a deep dive into the world of protein and protein supplements. Also, the good, bad, and the ugly on that. If you want more Food Truth, go to our website at www.getfoodtruth.com. We'll see you next time.